Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormock and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we are still in our handmade Christmas ideas, and I thought we would do something with jars. Now, we all have jars of various different sorts, shapes and sizes, and they are perfect things for filling with all sorts. You can fill them with sweets, you can fill them with chocolate, you can fill them with cookie mixes, you can fill them with all sorts of different things, potpourri, and they just make a lovely gift. But a plain jar is very plain. So I thought we'd have a go at doing a couple of ideas in decorating a plain ordinary jar. So this is just a, in fact it's a jam jar. Nothing fancy at all. I've just washed it out well, and it has got a gold lid which is quite nice, so that sort of adds a little bit of character to it straight away. And we're using all sorts of bits and pieces that we've got lying around. So we're still using some of the classic Christmas, and this is just a little piece. It is 6 inches long, but I've just cut it to, this one is cut to 1 3/4 inches, and that's because that was a strip I had over. You can make the strips wider, you can make the strips narrower. It's really just using up the bits that you've got to make something pretty. I've cut some die cuts out, and these little ones are from the Cherish the Season. So they're the little sort of sprigs. And then I've used the sprig punch and just cut out some glittery ones from some retired cardstock, but we do have some glittery ones in the current ones, so you could use that. The dies I've used are the stitch shapes because I can use them all the time with different things. So we need one for the lid, and all you do, depending on your jar, is going to be potentially a different size to this one, so just make sure that your circle will fit inside. Now I've left quite a little bit of a gap on here because I quite liked the gold going round it. So this we're going to very simply just put on with some wet glue. So it's just a matter of putting various different things in Christmassy colours if you want it very Christmassy and traditional, and just making something which looks pretty and Christmassy. So this is just going to rest in on the centre, and with it being wet glue it will just tuck itself in quite nicely. I'll just leave it on for a few minutes and then it will dry. So that's going to be our lid. I'm going to take that off just for a minute and put it to the side. Now this strip I've got won't fit round most jars, but that doesn't matter because we're using 6 by 6 with everything. So I have cut the largest of the ovals, and that then will go across and will meet up. So that will allow us, if you're using 12 by 12, you're going to be able to put it straight the way around. Now I'm using, for this, I'm actually using some double-sided tape, only because I want it to be quite strong. So I'm just going to take the double-sided tape off. This is one of my absolute banes. I'm not very good with double-sided tape because I find that it doesn't stick in. It's very difficult to peel off for me, but with a bit of luck, there we go. That's one. And then we'll do the other. So I'm just going to take the end of this one and hopefully get this one up as well. Come off, or is it still stuck down? It's probably still stuck down. So I've never been very good with double-sided tape. Sometimes it pulls up, sometimes it doesn't, and you end up with not being able to get it off very well. There we go. Okay, So then we just need to put this round the jar, and we only need those two sides. So all I'm doing is I am just taking it and then wrapping it round so that it's straight, and just lining up the other side so it's as straight as possible on there. So we then have it just going round our jar quite nicely. You only need the two ends stuck because the other part doesn't really need to be stuck. So now we've got our oval part, and I'm going to put the sentiment in on top, and I'm going to glue that one. You can have your pieces sticking up as much as you want, so you can put dimensionals and things in. Just don't put dimensionals that will show on the inside of the jar, because the nice thing with this is that because our paper is double-sided, it will show the other lovely side of the paper on the inside of the jar. So you can see on here you've got the other side showing, which is quite nice. So we don't want too much sort of sticking in on there. Okay, so this is going to go and is going to be wrapped over and go on top of here. But before that, I want to actually decorate it. And because I'm sticking this down, what I want to do is, I'm just going to leave that so that glue adheres. I'm going to just start decorating it with a few little bits and pieces and things. So I'm just going to put some of these on, and this is where I am going to use some, I can use the tape runner, or I can use some glue dots. So I think I'm going to use some glue dots as well, because glue dots are see-through, so they're not going to affect the inside of the jar. You want something, as I say, that's not like a dimensional, because then that will show. So I'm literally just going to put a glue dot on the bottom. Whoops, just pick this up and just take glue dots from here, and I'll put one. I might just get away with one, let's see. So I'm just going to put this just up in that direction. It doesn't matter if it sort of hangs off a bit. And then these are tiny weeny little ones, so let's see if we can get a glue dot in on these, which again, just need to be careful to pull it off and not tear this, because it's quite sort of lacy. And I'm just going to put this one in on the center like that, and have that sticking out a little bit. And then we're literally just going to add, you can add as much or as little as you want. You can make it as fancy as you want. It's just a way to just pretty up a jar with various things. Now that's probably to make sure that my jar will close. Let me just double check. So check with my lid. Yes, that's fine. So let's put another couple of these green ones on. I'm putting the larger one in on here. And we have lots of different shapes. You can use anything that you've got. This is really just an idea to show you how it's very simple to just decorate a jar and turn it from being a plain old jar into something quite pretty and fancy. So I'm just going to put another glue dot in here, but you will see that from the inside, glue dots, you're not going to be able to see them. So they're a great way of adhering little things. You could do it with the double-sided tape if you wanted to. Put that one in on there. And then we'll have a couple of these little ones, I think. So put this one on. And I think I'm going to put some potpourri in here. I dry quite a few plants and things, and I've got some lavender that's really rather pretty. So I thought that I might just fill it with potpourri. Another nice thing to do is to fill it with bath salts. You know, quite old-fashioned, but you can get some really pretty bath salts, and they always smell lovely in a jar of those, or as I say, cake mix, all sorts of things really. And you can just fill them with chocolates if you want to. Okay, so we've got those in like that. All right, now I've got this one, and again, I'm just literally curving it just a bit because I want this to go in over the top and to come quite nicely down in on the center. Although some of these are not going to be sticking out quite as much. So what I might do is let's put some down at the bottom as well. So let's get the glue dots. And we'll put a couple of pieces down at the bottom. So I'm going to take this one lower down so it sticks out at the bottom like that. I've got a couple of green ones here as well. So we did some, over the years, we've done some really nice coloured, you know, tinsely, glittery paper, and you only need little scraps and things over. So, or you could do it with the gold, and I'm going to show you one afterwards with the gold. I'm just going to put that one in the center. I think that's probably going to be enough like that. Yes, I'm just going to have it like that, I think, and then just put that in over the top. Okay, so this one we're going to try it with the tape. So I'm going to try and put quite a lot of this tape round on here. So bringing it round, because we do want to try and have quite a bit on here. So I'm overloading it with the tape because I want it to be as sticky as it can. But again, it's still going to be see-through, so it's not going to be. There we go. Now let's hope that that will go in. So I want it just coming in on the center here and just coming round like that. Okay, so then that can just go in like that, and you've then got that beautifully wrapped all the way round, but with the prettiness of the jar on top. And then I'm just going to put this in on here. So that's our lid. You could decorate the top of the lid as well if you wanted to. I'm keeping this fairly plain. And then I'm going to use, I've still got some of this ribbon. I think I'm going to use a bigger bit of this ribbon today because I like the silver of it. So we're just going to take a piece to just tie in a bow. So let's see how much we need. We'll have it about there, I think. Like that. And again, you can have whatever bow you want round there. It's just a very simple idea of decorating a jam jar. So I'm just taking this round and just tying that up in there. And then hopefully I will have enough to do a bow. I might have to do it. It's going to be a very tiny bow, but it should work in on here. Bows on cameras are not the easiest thing to do. In fact, bows in general are not the easiest. I'm not very good at doing bows, but sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't. Oops. Take that round like that. There we go. So you've got turn that around so it's a bit more centered. And there you have just a very pretty idea for decorating a jar. Fill it up with whatever you want, and as I say, you've got something that's pretty and lovely. So I'm going to keep it that way down because it's easier to, well no, it's going to roll, so I'm going to put that one up, and then we're going to go on to the second jar. Now this one again is a very easy idea. This is one of these little round jars, and I filled it, because of the gold, I filled it with little gold sweets, and I've taken this is from the words, what's it called? Well-written framelets. We have quite a few different dies that have words on, and I've done this on double-sided tape. So this again, very simple idea, but because I'm using the gold, if you put, so this is the love, it's just going to go in on the top of the jar. And because it is the same colour as the jar, it almost looks as if it's embossed on there. And I've then got another one to go on the outside of the jar. So this one is going to go on the outside, and I'm just going to put it at an angle. I quite like that, like an angle like that. So again, very simple, but it just has the love on it, like that. And then I've taken, and I'm not sure how well this is going to work. We'll have to see, because I've done it on, double-sided tape, and most of them have fallen out. These are the curvies. You could put little hearts around there, but I thought that it would look quite nice to just have some these little leaves, which I thought were lovely, but I've done them with double-sided, and I'm not sure how easy they're going to be to get out, but we'll try just a couple to just see. So you can just peel with a bit of luck. It might be a little bit difficult to get these ones off because they are so tiny, so I think it's going to be a matter of having a little bit of patience on them to get the double-sided tape off. But I thought that with it being the let's try with the pokey tool and see if that will make it easier. I'm not sure whether, oh yes it will. Right, so the pokey tool is easier, and then you can put these little gold leaves round on the jar, which will just make it look, so let's take, I'm just going to put a few of them on. I will go all the way around the jar because I really like this sort of gold look, and then it's just not the easiest to get the backing off, but it's a way of being able to put them on that you know that they're not sort of going to go anywhere. So I'm just going to put them on at angles round. I'm only doing a couple. I will do, you know, take the whole of them and just decorate it all the way through. And then on this one, because I want it to be more of a sort of a vintage look, we can put some white ribbon round on here. And we've got two different types of white ribbon. So we've got the vintage lace scalloped one, which I really like, and we've also got the little polka dot one, which is fairly sort of see-through. Let's find the end of that. So this is the polka dot twill, and again that's quite pretty on there. So that would add quite a nice little polka dot look to it. Or we could put the vintage lace, which, as I say, I really love. This needs to be just rested for a while to go round. And I think the vintage lace one, which one do I prefer? I think I'm going to have the twill for a change. So let's take some of this one out. We want enough for it to go round, and I'm going to put it in on the corner here. Take it down to about there. That should give me enough to do a reasonable bow. So again, you know, you can make these, as I said, as fancy as you want or as simple as you want. It's just about looking and seeing what you've got in your stash that will make just a pretty little addition to whatever you're doing. And then once you've done it, you should be able to never get the center of these bows. I do struggle bow tying. Let's see if we can get this one in. There we go. So I will fiddle around with the bow because, as I said, I'm not the greatest at tying bows, but you know, if you look at that, again, a very pretty way to just decorate a jar. And because you've got the gold inside, it's lovely. You know, you can put all sorts of little things in, anything you want really, but two very simple ideas to decorate jars, and they can be any jars at all. This one had jam in it, and so did this. This was a strawberry jam jar. So decorate your jars, fill them up with things. A very cheap, very simple idea for Christmas. And we're almost at the end of our series now. I've only got, I think, a couple more to do, maybe only one more to do. I'm not quite sure how far around I am, but thank you so much for all of your support in this series. It has been quite a mission. I haven't really done a video a day because it does take a lot to do one every single day, but I have enjoyed it, and I know that you have, so thank you so much for that. And look forward to seeing you tomorrow for another idea. As always, stay safe, stay well, and be kind. Bye-bye.